I'm Jeff Brandis, and welcome to Heart and Mind Mondays, where we take the most challenging day of the week to set your heart and mind up for success. Do I have a treat for you today? Our guest of success is Kim Zani of Gelato Di Babbo. Kim, welcome to Heart and Mind Mondays.
Hi.
I'm so glad, I'm grateful that we have this connection. For those of you in the audience, this is actually the very first time Kim and I are meeting and having a conversation. So they're always very exciting, and it's always fun to have some spontaneous conversation. You never know where it's going to lead. Kim, let's start with this. Passion. I am very passionate about what I do. You know, when it comes in, you know, people always tell me when we come to conversations, they always feel that energy. You know, it's just a special aura, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs have that. So when it comes to you, your passion is Gelato Di Babbo.
Yeah.
And I would like our audience to know why. You know, where did this passion come from? You know, how'd you get started? Why do you do what you do to where you are today with it?
I don't know where the passion came from, to be honest with you. It just kind of, I live and breathe Gelato Di Babbo now. It started from a bicycle on the side of the street that I customized, that I pushed out and would make fresh gelato every night. And then I would stand out on the street and scoop gelato, and it was perfect because it was summertime, so I would listen to music and soak in the sun and talk to tourists, and it was a fun job. And then it got cold, and I'm like, I can't sit out here anymore. And so I took some samples to a local grocery store, and the buyer was blown away by it. And he's like, you're going to have to go through packaging, and it'll probably take you a couple months. And I was like, don't doubt me. A month later, I had packaging on the shelves with 6 flavors that I introduced to the area. So
wow.
5 years later, I'm in 272 stores as of like 2 weeks ago and growing. So every day I add another store to the list of, or the roster of stores. And
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, does that seem fast to you, or is anybody in the business think, is that fast growth, or is that moderate growth, or?
It's not normal. It's not normal. So I honestly don't feel like it's fast enough, because I have the plan to becoming national within. At first it was 3 years, but I would like to become national within 1.5 years. So it's not fast enough yet, because all I have right now is from Connecticut to Virginia to Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan, and Utah is where the products are. So I'm hoping that that I'll have more stores.
Now, you said you started with 6 flavors.
Yes.
Do you still have 6 flavors?
I added a whole bunch. I had all kinds of crazy flavors before. I had sunflower and sweet potato casserole and all kinds of stuff. Before I would just make the flavor, put all the nutritional information in, and run laser printed labels that I would design on Photoshop, and then would use a template and cut it out and wrap it around these pints. So it was very easy for me to come up with a new flavor. Now I have these pre-printed pints that when I go to production, we have about 25,000 of one flavor that's made. Wow. So there's a lot of preparation and money that's invested.
What's your number one flavor?
Well, it's going to change soon. Right now it's pistachio.
Okay.
Which is the best pistachio on the planet, because I literally went to Bronte, Italy, and walked on volcanic rock to bring back the best pistachio. So I actually import it in, and I use it in my products.
Talk about taking a no excuses approach and doing whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. I like to go way beyond everybody else, because there's always somebody else that's coming up in the ranks behind you. So as soon as you think that you're comfortable, there's somebody else. So
and they're hungry too.
They're hungry. The grocery store game is really nasty, but the frozen like ice cream dessert section is just cutthroat. And I
now, is that what the gelato is? Is it a frozen treat?
Yeah, I mean it's Italian ice cream.
Okay, gotcha.
So I compete against Turkey Hill, Haagen-Dazs, Ben & Jerry's, Talenti, Ciao Bella, all the other national companies.
So if somebody wants your gelato, where do they go to get it?
Giant Foods, Whole Foods, Wild by Nature. I have a whole slew of stores that carry the product.
Now, do you have a website as well? I know you're on Facebook.
Yes.
What would the website be for the audience to know?
Well, you can go to gelatodibabbo.com or Zani Foods. It's the same website. So Zani Foods is the umbrella company that holds Gelato Di Babbo.
Okay.
If you go on there, you'll be able to see the nutritional facts for each flavor and the different flavors that are.
Now, do you come up with the ingredients? Is this your masterpiece, or do you have other people that help you?
No.
Wow.
This is mine. I started from, the recipes originally came from Italy. My mother-in-law had brought them over in a black binder for me from the favorite gelateria. She had promised that the recipes weren't going to be used in Italy, so she brought them over. And I tried them and tried them and tried them in a small machine, and then I made a lot of bad gelato until I figured out.
Trial and error. You
I did a lot of trial and error until I figured it out. The thing about milk here versus milk in Italy, it's different. It's fattier there versus the milk here. So it was just a lot of.
Must taste out of this world over there, huh?
It does, but you know what? A lot of people are now using powder bases, the easier way. So it's like making a cake from Betty Crocker, or, that one of those kind of things, Dunkin' Lines. So it's a lot different now. The true art of making gelato from scratch is really becoming lost art. So yeah, all the recipes are mine now. I've changed them. They don't even follow the original recipes at all. So
it'd be fun to create that too.
I love that. I can make anything you could possibly think of. I've made chocolate stout. I've made orange rose goat's milk, where I've driven out to the Amish farm and picked up the goat's milk. Anything. I can duplicate any flavor.
You know, as entrepreneurs, there are times where we're alone in our business, and there's times where we get overwhelmed, or there's fear and doubt and worry, and we might question our vision of self. We believe in ourselves, but it seems like no matter how good we are at what we do, there's still times where we think, am I good enough? Do I have what it takes? Does any struggle or obstacle or challenge, have you gone through anything that you could share with the audience that kind of sticks out above and beyond, like little everyday challenges, that you could share? Or
I go through that every day. I have like nervous breakdown every day. So I mean, is that
your personality, or is it?
No, I'm not a nervous person.
Okay.
I'm actually a very overly confident person. Okay. So it's just that. I started a business from $1,000 in my pocket and trying to create something, and I've almost lost my house a couple times due to foreclosure, trying to figure out how.
Nothing gets more stressful than that.
Yeah, how I'm going to keep utilities on and that kind of thing, just because when you have a product-based business and you're dealing with wholesale, it's a lot different than having a service base where you just go, you do the service, and you get your check, versus I have to have inventory, and there's a lot of people with their hands in. So I had to figure out what am I going to do? Am I going to order cups this week, or am I going to pay this bill? And it was like that for a good 5 years, and now it's a bigger magnitude of problems. The bigger you get, the bigger the problems get. So it's not, I still deal with the personal side of trying to keep a roof over my head and everything else, because I'm still growing. People think that with 200 and some stores that I'm just rolling in money.
You're nowhere near where you want to be.
I'm not comfortable at all. Yeah. I'm still trying to get out there, because there's additional costs involved. People think when they go to the grocery store and they see a higher priced product that I'm pocketing that money, and that's not the case. I have production that I pay, and then I have distributors that send the product out to grocery stores, and then the grocery stores that make their markup, and then if something happens, like the freezer section goes down, then I'm responsible for their freezers for some reason, and then I have to pay money back out. So there's a lot of money that's moving around, and it's very stressful.
It's complicated.
It's very complicated. It's very stressful. It's just, sometimes I question who I am or what I'm doing. I do a different job every day of the week, so one day I might be doing photos, and one day I might be in a photo shoot, and the next day I'm out on the road doing sales, and then I'm sitting at my desk pulling my hair out doing brokering stuff. Every day is a different job for me.
It's like you have so many pieces of that marketing pie, and you start on one, and then that's running, and then you start on the other, and then now you have two things going, and then you go to the third, and
yes.
It's just a constant wheel.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
Sometimes I forget things because I have so much to do every day, and on top of that, I'm a mom, so it just makes it a little bit more. I have to stop everything and
You
be a mom.
just said that from the beginning. I'm a mom and an entrepreneur.
So yeah.
I saw something last night that you posted on Facebook, and before my next question, I'd like to just read it to you. Tomorrow, being interviewed for Guest of Success, still not sure what success means. I always ask people what the word means to them. When they call me a success, I'm just living, taking care of my son as a single mother with a business I started out of my house. I don't associate myself with that word. So what I was going to ask you is what your definition of success is and what it means to you. But before you answer that question, I'm being a little redundant because just a few minutes ago I talked about being an entrepreneur and believing in yourself and having self-worth and self-value and self-confidence. Being a mindset and success coach, no matter of the clients that I work with, no matter how good they are at what they do, for whatever reason, there is still doubt. And I just fall back on we're all human. There's always going to be those periods where they don't see themselves as being at the top of their game. Mm-hmm. That's the fun part about what I love, helping people to be the best they can be at what they do. So if they can't see it, I can see it because I can see their unique ability. They know they have it. I think we all have something inside of us, and I think we need help with people to bring it out of us.
Right.
And that's the key. So I'm just glad that you said that. I don't associate myself with that word. It's just very common, and I would love other entrepreneurs that when they see that if they do feel the same way, to not feel, not to go in any kind of depression or feel bad about themselves, or anything like that, because there are times where we don't see ourselves at our highest vision. And that's why I've always had a mentor and a coach, because even though I really think I can see that high vision of self, there are times when you approach those daily challenges, you're like, holy cow, how am I going to take care of all this? How can I be the best I can be? Because I have this obstacle and that challenge and this problem and et cetera, et cetera. So with all that being said...
well, let me break it down, I guess. I measure success with wealth, and okay. So, which I'm definitely not there yet. As far as depression and not feeling self-worth, it comes with entrepreneurship, I believe. Is that it's a roller coaster. And some days I am as happy and high and giddy, mm-hmm. and I can't sit still, and I'm just breathing all heavy and stuff because I'm on this rush.
They're great days.
They're great days. But then the fall is really hard too, and it's the day where you don't want to talk to anybody, and there's crying, and it just comes along with it, and that's. Basically, I don't know any entrepreneur that isn't like that.
Let me ask you this now that you've said that. When you have those moments, how do you, I like to call in the teachings of the Heart and Mind Success System, I like to call it flipping the switch. how fast can we get to a negative mindset to a positive mindset? So when you're there, what do you do? Is there people immediately you think you pick up a phone and then you're crying, and you're like, I just need to vent, that kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you read? Do you go? I know you love fitness, so
right.
you can go work it out.
I work it out.
So is that?
I've gotten to the point now where when I get super stressed out that I just push it into the gym, because then I come out and I'm just like, and that tense stress just makes me push harder at the gym. So it's kind of a win-win, if you will.
Okay.
But sometimes I might reach out to a possible friend, but generally I don't, because I don't like to burden my friends because I have so much drama. I don't like to put that on them.
Friends are for too.
Yeah, to a certain extent, they're like, I can't deal with it anymore.
They tell you that.
Yeah. They're like, once you start seeing them rub their head and stuff, that it's time to leave them alone. So, because it's always constant with me. So I generally don't bother them too much. But sometimes it's just a matter of 5 minutes later, something else happens that just, okay, yeah. So I live literally from minute to minute. So 5 minutes before I could have had a nervous breakdown, and then all of a sudden a giant order comes in and I'm happy. So
the life of an entrepreneur. Oh my goodness. Okay, your future vision, goals, intentions, etc.
National. So I'm working on that right now.
Are you impatient with that, or?
Yeah, I'm impatient with everything. I'm naturally an impatient person, so.
Sometimes it's nice when things just evolve too naturally. That you don't get too fast too soon, because being by yourself, that could be a position that you don't want to find yourself in too.
Well, that's what it was before when I was dealing with production and
gotcha.
stuff. But now I set my companies up so they work on their own.
Okay.
So I don't have to get out of bed if I don't want to in the morning, which is really nice. So
it's phenomenal.
I set myself up to be lazy.
It just means more time in the gym.
Now, the thing was is when I was in Italy 2 years ago, I just remember laying on the boat in the sun, and I'm just like, I don't want to work, but I want to make money. So how do I not work?
That's great
so
mindset.
Much? Yeah. So, and I came back from Italy and I told my dad that. My dad was like, "You're crazy. You have to work." I was like, "No, there's a way to do it. I know there's a way to do it." So I spent the last year doing that. So everybody works. It's vertically integrated. So all the way down the line. I don't touch my samples. Occasionally I might, but I have a warehouse. I pack samples. They pack the orders, the production. They make it. I send trucks. They move it. So it's just a matter of making phone calls or even just emails, and I can do that from anywhere in the world. So
you're on your way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Less of those days where you kind of have the Kleenex out and you're upset.
I still going to have that, though. Things happen. You can't control the world. So,
but you can control how you adapt to it.
That's right. So
that's the mindset stuff right there.
Yeah.
Now, lastly, here we are coming to an end. What advice would you have for someone who's maybe watching us now and who shares the same passion? Let's say it's not gelato. Let's just say it's a product-based business. What advice would you give them as they're kind of getting started and they have a passion to succeed?
It's a product-based business?
I guess something similar to what you're doing with your gelato.
You need to have money. Don't start a business without money. But because I had to do it crawling and clawing all the way through. So, there is something to be said for that, because I know every step of the business, which gives me respect within the ice cream world, with other...
They can't get one over you. You know exactly what you're doing.
I know everything about it and how to cook the product and everything about it. So I can go tit for tat with a major production facility.
With the big boys.
Yeah, and have my respect. But you should have money, because it's really hard to do a business that way and survive. And that's where people die in their businesses. They just give up. because they don't have the money to be able to take it to that next step. And there's been a couple times that that's actually happened to me, that I didn't have the money to be able to take it to the next step. So I was either going to say,
you're just kind of on hold for a while?
I was ready to go up, or I was ready to blow up or go under. And that's happened to me a few times where I needed that extra chunk of money to be able to get to that point for production. So you should have the money from the beginning. It will save you a lot of headaches. And king is cash, so you're willing, or you're able to be able to negotiate more when you have money. Nobody wants to talk to somebody that doesn't have any money, because you're wasting people's time. So they look at it.
And that's because of all the other pieces you talked about earlier about the production of the product. Especially with the wholesale business. Okay.
Right. I mean, generally there's not credit anymore for business. And for me, I'd dish out a lot of money just to put in a hold account just for packaging. So before the co-packer would even start doing anything. So I mean, it was a lot of money. So nobody wants to speak to anybody that has nothing, as far as, unless you're a mentor.
So say they have the cash, they have someone investing them, or just say it's friends and family that are saying, here, we want to see you succeed, we're going to back you. And
good luck with that. I mean, it's really hard to find people, especially with
right.
the economy the way that it is right now. I mean, people might have like a couple $100 here or there, but generally trying to find family members to be able to really back it. And a lot of times if you try to go to the bank, you're going to hold a gun at the
really
bank.
Tough getting
loans. Yeah. I mean, they want your house. So, and I'm like, I can't do that. I can't put my house down for it. And there's no, I love this, your woman owned, so you can get federal grants. That's not even real. So I don't know where that came from, but that doesn't exist.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've been at every possible dead-end wall, trying to figure out how to get funding and stuff. So, I mean, you definitely want to have some money socked away to start a business. Don't do it like I did it.
Any other advice for someone that if they do have the money and they can get started, anything past that point?
You just want to keep pushing. Every time there's an obstacle in front of you, you just need to say, I can do this, and push past it. I mean, I have a lot of friends that have businesses, and they get really stressed out, and they're like, I can't do this. And I'm like, don't stop saying that, because you can do that.
You can't have a defeated mentality.
No, you can't, because you'll never go anywhere. So you're just better off just working for somebody that way.
It's funny, in the mindset world, I talk about failure has no opposition. It's easy to fail. You can stop and quit at any moment along this ride that you want.
Right.
But when you want to be the best that you can be, when you want to be successful, there is always another hill to climb.
Right.
And some people don't have that mentality. But once you address it in that situation, once I address that to entrepreneurs, they start to have a different picture in their mind, that they accept obstacles now. You almost have to say that failure is your friend. To a certain extent, you got to say, all right, I failed this time, or I tried this product, now what's the next one? Or this, for you, it's this flavor didn't work, okay, create another flavor, that kind of thing. But no opposition to failure. You got to work for the success.
They say great success is failed 3 times. So, I don't know that I've failed 3 times yet. I don't know how to value that statement.
And that could be little failures too, depending on the road that you're on.
Right.
Or it could be major failures, depending on the road you're on.
Yeah.
But that's great. Good stuff. Wow. Kim Zani, Gelato Di Babbo.
Buy it.
Thank you, Kim.
Yeah, no problem.
To the heart and mind of your success, I can't wait to see you next Monday.